Hello, welcome to Dunkandegg Bricks and to another vlog video. Doing one of these because it's been a little while since I've posted regularly and I just thought I'd get you guys up to speed on what I've been doing and what I'm going to be doing. So, first of all, we will start just here where there's a small change that's happened, which is that Hogwarts has been shifted down from that end to this end, which has then left space over there for some other parts of Hogwarts. Just ignore the 8080 that's just there temporarily. I've also got these large minifigs. Not going to be doing a review on them. They were actually a gift and I'm going to be reselling them, but they're fun builds anyway. And then down below, I've started to rearrange some other things. So I've actually brought the Hogwarts Express up to this level and I'm going to have track going all the way across from London End to the Hogsmeade end there. Diagon Alley is going to be moving and everything else is put there. Now, the reason it's not on the floor anymore is that I've got a different way of storing my pieces. So they're all still in the same drawers that they were in before. These are just from B&Q, which is a hardware DIY home improvement store here in the UK. But I've now put them on the floor and they're all lined up on that level, which just leaves everything else free for Lego to be displayed. And I think just makes things a little bit neater and nicer. I've also moved my Hogwarts icon set onto that table. Now, that doesn't live there, otherwise you wouldn't be able to open this door. It's just been there temporarily. Because what I've actually done is I've moved my desk, which was against that wall there, and it is now in the corner just here. So the reason I've moved it here is, as I've said previously, I'm starting a new job actually today, on the day that the video will come out, which is tomorrow from my perspective. So wish me luck with that. Hopefully I had a good first day. But anyway, I've moved my desk here, so I get a little bit more light through the window, which is really nice. And I'm going to be doing some things there today, like putting up some shelves. You might also notice I got myself a new laptop, one of the M1 MacBook Airs, to replace my slightly aging old MacBook Pro. So that's going to help me with my video editing, hopefully make it a smoother process so I can get more videos out to you guys. Now, like I said, what I'm going to be doing today mainly is putting up these shelves that I've got here. Now, these are white floating shelves, so they're hopefully going to match the white of this desk here. These are just from B&M, which is a sort of discount store here in the UK. You can pick similar things up pretty much anywhere. I'm not sponsored by any of these brands. It's just interesting to let you guys know. So these are 100 centimeters wide, so they'll be the same width as the desk, and they're just going to go sort of here and here. So, I've never actually put any shelves up before with all my old Lego stuff. Obviously, it's this floor standing things, and this comes from the fact that we used to be renting, but now we own the house, we can drill as many holes in the walls as we like. So I'm going to get on and do that. And hopefully, if this turns out well, it'll be a little bit of a kind of instructional video on how to put these things together. So I've got the various things that I need. I've got my drill, I've got my drill bit for drilling into brick, got my hammer, and then hopefully these shelves should come with all the necessary fixings and fittings that you need to put them on. So after a very long intro, let's get on and start prepping the area to put those shelves up. Right, that's a bit better. Everything's been cleared away. Most importantly, the brand new laptop, which I really don't want to damage, and also all the Lego, which I really also don't want to damage. So that is now a nice empty blank space. I've taken the poster down off the wall as well. So we've just got to decide where we're going to put these shelves. Before I do that though, I think I'll just talk a little bit about why I'm putting them up. In my previous version, I had the drawers along the back there, and then I had stuff displayed on the top. Now I am going to keep that stuff displayed down here. So you saw I had the Hogwarts Moment books, or the covers of the books anyway, there, and then my golden 20th anniversary minifig collection, which I've got all of, which is great. And then a few other bits and pieces, bonsai, sort of pen holders, some brick heads and things like that. Going to keep those, probably going to keep them down on the desk as well. But what I really need space for is Diagon Alley. So Diagon Alley is, as I showed you before, just over here. Ignore the miscellaneous crap from my desk. And it's currently displayed there. Now, the problem with it here is that I don't think it displays very well. I've never really liked it like this. Because these shelves are so deep, it's actually a bit of a waste of space just to put it in one long line. Also, it's too long to fit in one of these Ivar shelves. These are about 80 to 90 centimeters. Diagon Alley is over a meter. So it goes behind one of these supports. Doesn't look so great. The other thing is I could display it bunched up, so it's buildings against each other, but then you don't get to see it. And, you know, considering that it's one of the prized pieces of my collection. I really want to show it off. The other problem is, as I described before, I want to do a kind of London to Hogsmeade railway line here, so I want a little bit of space for a small representation of King's Cross Station, sort of akin to the brand new set that's coming out in a similar way, where you have, you know, maybe one arch and then two half arches, something like that, obviously on a smaller scale. Yeah. So yeah, I want to do that. Also want to have space for Grimmauld Place. I still need to get the Ministry of Magic and then King's Cross. So that's going to take up probably a whole shelf. Then I'll have another shelf here, which will have Privet Drive and the Borough. And then further on, we have Hogsmeade. Now, I do want to be able to also spread those things out and give them a little bit more room at either end. So really, Diagon Alley doesn't fit here. Could put it there, but then I've got lots of other stuff. So basically, I need space for Diagon Alley, and just above my desk seems pretty perfect. So here's one of the shelves, just got it out of its box. Comes with all the different pieces you need, so the wall plugs and the screws to hold it up. So that should be okay. Like I said, I've never put shelves up, and I'm a little bit wary about floating shelves. If you don't know the distinction, they're the ones that just have all the fixings basically hidden. You kind of screw this metal bracket into the wall first and then slide the shelf on over it. But hopefully it should be okay. These are rated for 8 kilograms of weight, and Diagon Alley weighs between sort of 4 and 5, so should be way below the threshold. So hopefully won't be having any problems. So I think I'm going to get this out and then start marking up exactly where on the wall I want it. So how high up off the desk, and also making sure it's nice and centered in the middle. So here is, as best as I can get it, the middle of this alcove. It's actually ever so slightly to one side, but it's basically there, and this is a vertical line going up from the desk. So this will be where the middle of the bracket goes, so we fix it into the wall just like that, and then yeah, everything gets fixed to that. So what I've just got to decide now is how high up I put that first shelf. So between the first shelf and the second one, basically all we need is enough height for Diagon Alley, but this one is going to be a little bit difficult. So from the research I've been doing online, so I'm just trying to get some tape measure out one-handed, recommends, I think it said 22 inches, so that would put the first one there on the wall. Might be a little bit high. I was thinking sort of 50 centimetres, so there's not a huge difference between 50 centimetres and 22 inches. What I think I'm going to have to do actually is mark those different heights on the wall, and then hold the shelf up and just see how it looks. Well, there we go. Skipping ahead a little bit, I've moved the desk out of the way and I have drilled the first holes for the first bracket. So you can see all the mess that I've made. I'm going to have to clean up afterwards. So literally, simplest thing in the world, hold up this to the wall, put the spirit level on top, and just make sure that it's straight, and fingers crossed it will be. So next thing to do is to hammer these wall plugs into place. They should just slide in, if it'll focus on this. There we go. They should just slide in, and then you just tap them home with the hammer, and then put this up, screw everything in place, and fingers crossed it should all work. Right, almost had a little bit of a disaster there. Turns out that the drill bit I was using was a 5mm drill bit, and what these wall plugs need is a 6mm. So I've just gone and found a 6mm one. This is a bit of a rubbish drill bit. The other one's a lot better for going through brick, but hopefully this will just widen those holes out a little bit, can get the wall plugs in. Fingers crossed that works. Okay, so all the wall plugs are in. Some of them are not as neat as the others. Yeah, some of them just really didn't want to go in properly. They were getting all squished and buckled, ones especially like this. So I really hope these are going to be enough to hold everything in place. Hopefully once the screws are in, they should be absolutely fine and they should grip onto the wall nicely. But yeah, so fingers crossed. Not much we can do at this point. So I'm going to get the bracket on and see if everything works out. And there is shelf number 1 in place, complete with Diagon Alley. It wasn't completely smooth sailing. Some of those wall plugs were not properly gripping, but I think they've gripped enough. It's not like I'm putting anything crazy heavy on there, but I do think that looks really, really nice. It looks really clean. There's nothing underneath. I think I wouldn't want to put much more on this, so I'm going to try not to do anything else on here. Also going to try to remember not to put any weight on it, because that's not going to work properly. Yeah, so there we go. I don't think I'll go through putting in the other shelf because it's exactly the same process, but I may just show a brief clip at the end with the 2 shelves in place. Put some other stuff on the other one. Yeah, so if I do that, then we'll skip to that now. And here is that final view. So this table is now back in place, and moving up to here, we have our shelves. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. Like I said, it was a little bit touch and go with the screws, but everything seems to be holding now. I've also put most of the weight at the back of the shelf, so I think that's going to be okay. So yeah, this gives me the perfect place to display Diagon Alley. It is ever so slightly too long for the shelf. It's about 3 studs too wide, but that's absolutely fine. And I just love the fact that this matches the desk down below. You know, it's not the world's nicest desk, but it does me, so that's fine. I've also just put my 8080 up there just because the way I've organised the shelves, it isn't quite tall enough for that. So that looks pretty good up there at the moment. Got to put a few other things on there, not too much, don't want to overload the shelves and clutter them, but also now that we've seen the new London Lego store and seen the Gringotts stuff that's in there, possibly a teaser of an expansion to come. Fingers crossed for a sort of, I don't know, 250 quid expansion that's Gringotts and the Leaky Cauldron, you know, really do those 2 buildings justice. And then I've got space up there for them. Might have to rethink something to do with the 8080, but you know, we'll see that when it comes. And then yeah, also got room for all this stuff down here on the desk. Place for my laptop, place for my coffee, and yeah, I can get on with work in my new job. So that's what I've been up to, especially today, getting that all fixed. Pretty happy with how that's turned out. So yeah, let me know what you think of this slightly new setup. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, there's that empty shelf there, which I can move everything down to. And yeah, I will, once I've settled into my new job, I will hopefully be back. I've started designing, or I'm continuing to design the other half of Hogwarts that's going to go over there. As you can see, I've got the original clock tower set in place, along with the Whomping Willow, or Whomping Willows now, and other bits and pieces. So I'm going to tidy this up, finish tidying all the mess up on the floor, and yeah, I will see you again, hopefully, pretty soon. Leave a like down below, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and if you want to support me, you can click the link for my Patreon below. Thanks very much, and I will see you soon.